So you mentioned the D2 schools, which is where you went. How big is the difference between D1 and D2 in football?
Okay, so my D2 school was also a very small Division two school because
Okay.
it's in the mountains in Colorado. It's called Western Colorado University.
Yeah.
That's where I went. You mentioned Wyoming. Actually, my little brother plays for Wyoming. So that was the school that recruited my little brother.
Yeah,
I went to West.
they recruited you they were the only D1 school that tried to recruit you but didn't offer you a scholarship, right?
Correct. They wanted me to
Right.
walk on and see
Yeah.
where I'd fit in as an athlete. They didn't even
Yeah.
want me to play running back. They're just like,
Take the money.
let's see where you can fit in, you know? And so, yeah, I ended up going with Western because they're like, hey, we want you to play running back. I'm like, yes, I play running back. That's what I want to do. That's where I want to be. Um, but now I forgot the question. What were you talking
So
about?
just the difference between D1 and
Oh, yes.
D2.
So Western Colorado, 2,300 students is the entire university. The town itself is about 4,000. So it's a tiny
Wow.
valley up in the mountains, really a tourist town. Like, and so I was a raft guide my first year up there. We're doing like touristy stuff, during the off season to find work because we don't get like a stipend or anything like you do at the Division one schools. So I got part-time jobs, while I'm in school playing football and, going to school. So it was 100% a grind, but I was there to grind because I was like, I don't know where this is all going to take me. I didn't necessarily think it was even going to be football that was going to take me somewhere, but I knew football was helping me pay for school because I got a small scholarship there. You don't get full ride scholarships either at Division one or Division two schools, so
Right.
that's not a thing. They just don't have the budget for that. And so the biggest from the outside perspective is the size of the school, the competition of the school, and the recruiting capabilities. We're also recruiting up into the mountains in Colorado. So not only is it a hard place to recruit, but it's also dang cold and like you're not it's there's all these factors that are against you. Like you need outdoor rugged type individuals that are like
Yeah.
willing to go and play at Western, which actually helps with football. Even though the program when we got there, it was awful. They'd won 2 games the year before that. My freshman year, we won 2 games. And we still struggled even when I was up there, averaging 200 yards a game and 2 touchdowns. We ran 4 games my sophomore year, 4 games my junior year, and then finally my senior year we won 7 games, and it was like we're back, like we finally had a winning season, and all the time like it wasn't even that like our team when our program was good. It was just I was very dominant in that space. Like I mentioned, there was a couple years I averaged like 190 yards a game, 200 yards a game, 2 touchdowns. So I'm really, really putting out, production, but it just wasn't enough to carry. You can't carry a team as one individual in football. And so
Right.
that was a scenario that I was in up at Western and how it was different from some of the other schools.
That's crazy. That there's
Yeah, man.
It sounds like an episode of like Last Chance University where you're going there and you're trying to make your way up and you've got that mindset. Obviously
yeah.
I feel like I feel the same way. Like I'm from a small town. I was a small guy growing up. Um, I just was kind of lucky throughout growing up that I kept getting recruited and kept playing summer hockey and luckily, my dad took me to a school that was fully hockey focused. I got more ice time those 2 or 3 years than a lot of the big city kids got, and eventually got drafted and had a chance. But for you, it's like you're in a small town, and then you went to another small town, and then
Right.
so what happened after that?
Yeah, so for me, I really didn't have my eyes set on the NFL. Like I said, like in the back of my mind, it was like, yeah, that'd be awesome if that happened. But really, I was really focused on my education. Like once I kind of figured out and got settled in and came from high school to college, like my mind was like, I want to create an opportunity for myself that was better than the one I just came from in my small town, and so I can provide and be in a better situation that we were in at the time. And so I was super dedicated to football because I wanted to continue to lower, my chance of ever having to get student loans or anything like that. Because if you get all conference stuff like that, then you can go back and like, hey, give me a little bit more money, and they'll keep giving you a little bit more, a little bit more. I think by like the end of my senior year, I was getting like I think I had like $8,000, so $4,000 per semester that was applied to my school, right? So this is like very small amounts because we know college is really expensive.
Especially out there.
Oh yeah. And then so I'm focused on my education. So I get an internship with the oil and gas company. I'm a business major. I'm very interested in business, growing myself as a business person, learning about business, wanting to get into real estate, but I know I need capital. So I was like, how can I get access to capital early coming out of college? Oil and gas. It was a great opportunity. Went to the business side of oil and gas. was what's called a landman. Went to and did an internship with Noble Energy. They offered me a job. Actually, this is after my junior year, so I have one more year to play. And so after this year of play, I'm going to go work for Noble Energy. But then, I start having my coach come to me and say, "Hey, man, you have some scouts actually interested in you from the NFL." And I'm like, NFL, like really interested. And it's like, yeah, man, they're asking about you. They want to come watch you practice next year. And I'm like, okay. So I told my recruiter at Noble's like, I might have an opportunity to go play in the NFL. I would love to take this job, but I want to pursue that opportunity right now, because before my education was my biggest opportunity. Now sports looked like it's going to be my biggest opportunity. And so obviously I went and pursued the NFL opportunity and got myself into a position after my senior year where I had a few teams interested in me. None really took me seriously to draft me because I went to such a small school. They're like, we could probably just pick this guy up in free agency. He can be a camp body. Let's see how he does. But when I went from college to the NFL, I didn't have any expectations, and neither did any team have any expectations for myself. So it was like, okay, I don't know what's happening. I'm just going to give everything I actually possibly can. So I actually dropped out my last semester. I didn't graduate. I finished my last year of football in the fall, and I went and I started training. I'm just like, I'm going, everything in my human body and energy is going into training to make the damn team. That's all I care about, because for me, I understood that it was more than just a game. This ain't just a game. Like, I'm not just, going to school to help pay for, college and stuff like that with football. This is a whole new life trajectory for myself. And so I am, like I said, I again immersed myself into this, where it was like, I told my family, I was like, everyone needs to just leave me alone for a little bit. Let me just go train. Let me just focus on trying to make a team. And then the Chargers picked me up, and I brought that same energy there and ended up making the team on special teams.